Welcome to Scoop du Jour, Brandan Wright. I am so excited for this podcast personally because we have our first former Tar Heel on the show and longtime NBA player, 12-year NBA vet. You played with a number of teams, and we'll talk through all of them, but I'm just so excited to welcome you in. Thank you so much for being here.
Appreciate you having me. Looking forward to it.
I have to start with all things Tar Heels, and there's a lot of people who listen who are Tar Heels, but there's a lot who aren't. We share a special bond, I think, just by being Carolina grads.
Yeah.
You only played 1 year because you were so highly touted, 8th overall draft pick. 1 year at Carolina, did it mean as much to you in 1 year as those of us who were there for 4?
No, I mean, it meant a lot. I mean, I wanted to stay all 4 years. I wanted to stay longer than that.
Yeah.
But, you get in those situations where you just got to make a choice, a personal choice, kind of a business choice. I mean, you've seen where the game has gone as far as early entries and all those type of things. But, I mean, I was technically there for like 9 months. So it's kind of a blur, but
Yeah.
it was one of the best, like, short periods of my life. Like, just looking back on it, like, it was just a great time because it was a transition from high school and then going to college. And that was the last time that it wasn't truly about business. You know, it was more like, all right, this is the last time you get to be a kid and have fun. Then I got drafted at 19 years old. So, it was kind of crazy.
I have so many questions, but I want to go back to what you said. That is like the people don't really realize that's the last time you're a kid. And it hits so close to home. I remember before I went to college, my dad said to me, there is no time like college where you'll ever be surrounded by only people who are in the same boat as you, for lack of a better term, right? When you move away and you have a job, somebody's going to be at your job who's 10 years older than you. Somebody's going to be younger, whatever. You're all in the same boat. It's such a cool thing. And it kind of brought me back there. But take me back to, you grew up in the Nashville area. How did you decide on Carolina?
It came down to, I mean, ironically, it was between Carolina, Duke, Kentucky, and then Vandy. Yeah, I think I did. And then it really kind of came down to Carolina and Vandy, and it was kind of like do I stay home and do that thing? Because I was kind of already thinking beforehand that I wasn't going to be in college long. It was going to be probably a 1 year thing. I mean, Twitter is crazy now, and the internet is crazy, now. But Twitter wasn't available back then. I think it was born like maybe 2007 or 2000,
maybe
8-ish, around that time. So the internet was the hot thing back then. So you read the articles and people send you things, and you're gonna be drafted high, this and that. So it was kind of a choice between where do I want to go, and I just thought North Carolina was a great fit for me, the style of play, and it's one of the few places that no matter who the coach is, no matter who the players are, they play the same way throughout tradition. You can go back to the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, turn of the, millennium, still play the same way, and you still have to do the same thing, same traditions. So that was kind of cool to me. And, they're still doing the same things now, which is great to see on TV.
You did play for an iconic coach, and he was kind of in the beginning of his career in Chapel Hill then. What was that like to play under Roy Williams?
I mean, it was cool because, he had won a championship a couple years before, but he was still like having to prove himself as far as like, I got to get my guys in here, because I think he won with a couple Doherty's guys, I think maybe with May and McCants and Ray Felton. I think those weren't his guys, but they were Carolina guys, but obviously.
Yeah.
But I think he wanted to get his big time guys in, and I was part of that transition, and unfortunately we lost in the Elite Eight. A crazy game we blew, but I was kind of part of that transition of where showing the fans and the country like, all right, Coach Williams is about business, type of guys he's going to bring in, the quality of talent. And then a couple years later, my class eventually got a championship, which was great for me to see.
Oh, that's so cool. What do you remember about the Elite Eight game that you just mentioned? And then the team that eventually went on to win?
I mean, we blew an 18-point lead. That's all I can remember. I think it was 8 minutes left. I think we were up 18 with 8 minutes left. So, and I remember playing this game in New Jersey. We had the game in hand, and we just stopped making shots. And then Georgetown got hot. Went to overtime. We still couldn't score. I feel like that was our year, but we came up short. So I was really happy for those guys because the next year, that's when they went to the Final Four, and then they got blasted by Kansas.
Yeah.
Which was tough too because
His old
we
school.
got our heart ripped out the year before, and then those guys go to the Final Four next year and get beat bad, and then they finally get to the championship and beat Michigan State. So all those emotions, and they work hard for that championship they got.
It's so crazy. And this is obviously such a Carolina thing, but just the fact that there have been so many instances of going to the championship, falling, coming back, redemption tour.
Yeah.
My senior year of college was the buzzer beater that we lost, the Chris Jenkins shot, and then
Yeah,
come
I was
back.
at that game too.
You were?
I was down there.
What
Yeah.
was that like?
That was
As a
a
fan?
crazy. I mean, it just sucked because I was in Memphis at the time, and me and Vince Carter had flew down together to the game. We were playing together in Memphis, and we had everything planned out. We had practice that day. We had the plane. We flew down. We said we're gonna win the championship. We're gonna go out and celebrate a little bit, and then turn around, and come back to Memphis, and then that happened. That was nuts. That play was just because we tied it up. We were able to tie it up.
Marcus.
I think was it a bank shot? He hit a bank three, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Marcus
like that.
Page had tied it up with I don't even remember how many seconds.
Yeah, a couple seconds left. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when they made that shot, it was crazy because we had literally the whole, that were able to come, the alumni base of former basketball players were able to come, and we had all planned it out. Coach wanted all the guys to come up and celebrate. It was tough. It was hard. It was hard to watch.
It's so crazy too. Like when you're in a championship game, I'm sure this is for anyone, football, baseball, basketball. When you're playing in a championship game, no thought goes through your mind other than the fact you're winning that game. Does that happen to you as a player? Like as a fan, watching that game in 2016, watching the team again, even this past year, I'm watching it from the perspective, and I'm a sports journalist. I'm just watching this as a fan of my team's going to win if they're in the championship. Does that happen to you as a player, or is that crazy?
Yeah, I mean, because you always look at you study film and you prepare and you want to make sure you have your opponent down to a T, but you say, okay, this is what we do better, and this is what we do is going to allow us to win the championship or win this big game. And when it doesn't go well, it kind of sucks because the season is just over, So you don't have anything to go back on or to look forward to because you got a long wait. But like I say, give those guys credit because they came back next year and won it. So that's kind of a Carolina trend. We get our hearts ripped out and then we come back the next year and win it. So I hope those guys can do that because we blew the game last year too.
Yeah.
So we should have won that one. And those guys, they probably feel gutted, and they had a great summer and a great fall, and they are able to think about that. Now they know it's time for business.
Absolutely. I remember in 2016, I'd never heard a college campus quiet, and that night, college campus was quiet walking back from watching the game. That was just so crazy. Do you have a memory from your 9 short months, but do you have a memory of a specific game that was like the coolest one you played in as a college basketball player, the best or the fondest memory?
I mean, I just think that my first exhibition game was cool because I was so super nervous. And I tell people I was nervous because like high school first game, freshman wasn't nervous. First game I ever got in the NBA, wasn't nervous.
Really?
But that game I was really, really nervous for some reason. And the game didn't even count because I don't know what it was. I was just nervous. So that game, and then when we won the ACC championship down in Tampa, that was cool.
Yeah.
To cut the nets down and pretty much I think we locked up a 1 seed that day. So that was a cool thing because we won the championship game. The game started at 11 back then. It was early. Won the championship game. We showered up, went to a restaurant, ate, and then we were waiting on the selection show. And then we got the one seed and we went crazy. So that was a cool experience for me. But all that stuff was just so fun. It's like I said, you don't want to. I would never replace it with anything. It was just a great, great, great time period in my life.
So fast forward, and it's the NBA draft. They call your name, eighth overall, to what was the Charlotte Bobcats. But then
Hmm.
there was a trade that night involving you, and you go to the Warriors. Take me through the emotions of draft night and everything that went on then.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty simple because so I had worked out for Charlotte before the draft, and then they called a couple days before the draft, and they told me, we like Brandon or whatever, and he's a Carolina guy. Obviously, we really like those guys for sure.
Yeah.
And Jordan was there also, but he said we think this team is headed in the direction we want to build a playoff contender. So we're probably going to trade our pick, and we're probably going to try to bring some veteran guys in. So,
Mm,
I thought I after that I didn't think anything about it. I didn't think they were going to draft me or anything. So when they drafted me, I kind of knew something was going on. So I knew that that wasn't going to be my permanent destination.
mm.
I was just trying to wait like who. And that process is crazy because I don't know if they changed the rule yet, but back then you couldn't leave the green room until the trade was completed. I think you had to wait to the end of the round. So I got drafted eighth, and I had to wait all the way to the end of the round to get everything situated.
Were you still with your
Um,
family though?
yeah, I was still with my
Okay,
family,
good.
but we just had to wait there. It was because some guys they get drafted, they do their interviews, and they
Yeah.
can go start celebrating or whatever,
Mhm.
whatever is going to happen. We had the restaurant and all those things, and I didn't get to get there until I don't think I got to the restaurant until maybe 1 a.m., which is nuts.
You're just waiting around.
Yeah, I was just waiting around because the trade details had to be completed
Wow.
before, yeah, before you can leave the premise or whatever.
Had you known, you mentioned how social media was kind of just getting started and there still
Yeah.
was a lot of buzz around your name. Had you known you were going to go that high, or was there still kind of that shock and that emotion of you're the eighth overall draft pick?
I kind of knew because I think my range was like 3 through 10
Wow.
because the top two picks were pretty much locked up. It was Greg Oden and Kevin Durant. They were pretty much locked up. Everyone knew those guys would go 1 and 2, and then after that it was a big shuffle. No one knew where anyone was going to go, and but I knew my cutoff was at 10. I think that was Philly, maybe. I
Okay.
think they said if you get there, we're taking you. So that was my cutoff. I think that's pretty common these days. These teams tell you get to a certain point, we'll take you. But yeah, so I'm just waiting to trying to see where I go. But when Charlotte got on the clock, I'm like, I'm definitely not going here because, I know what they told me before the draft. And then they drafted me. I'm like, all right, where am I getting traded to?
Got it. Okay, so you mentioned Jordan. Did you have a relationship, or do you have a relationship with him? The Carolina connection being obvious, but
I mean,
from
just
that?
just a Carolina connection.
Yeah.
I knew him, seen him around the facility, and knew him just from, I went to his camp when I was like 13 years old out in Santa Barbara. That's the first time I ever met him, and that's 5 years before I decided to go to Carolina. So, every time we see him, it's all love and respect, and he really likes his Carolina guys, and I it's Michael Jordan. Every time you see him, you shake his hand, give him a hug. You just appreciate that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I have to know what you wore on draft night because it's a big like fashion show nowadays, but 2006, 7, it's a different fashion era.
Yeah, I wore like a gray suit with like a pinkish tie, pinkish shirt. It was not fully pink. It was like a really really pale pink.
Okay,
Um,
I respect that.
but I didn't want to go too crazy, but I didn't want to be too conservative.
Okay,
But now, like you said though, it's like a full like fashion statement.
yeah,
Like these guys really doing big things, and I'm not really like to be honest, I'm not really like that much into fashion. I'm pretty simple. Like I can wear the same clothes almost every day. I'm working out a lot. I'm always doing athletic things with my daughter. So it's not all of my suits and all the stuff I got over the years is literally just sitting in a closet that ever rarely gets used. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I can respect that. That's spoken like a true athlete, right? Mostly just
Yeah,
wearing
it's
athletic clothes. Um, you also talked about KD was in that draft class and all of these guys during this era of just iconic basketball. But I think I read that you modeled your game after Kevin Garnett and maybe Chris Bosh a little bit. Is that right? Are those
yeah.
your role
Those were
models?
my favorite players. Like watching like before I got to the NBA. I liked a lot of Tim Duncan too because I like his demeanor and the way he just goes about business. But those guys are all like long and athletic and lanky as they say or whatever.
Mhm.
Shot blocking type of guys. Try to bring some defensive intensity to the game. So I like those guys a lot. But when I got in the NBA, I just started taking pieces from everywhere. You watch so much film. You try to improve and add anything you can. Because especially if you say, "Oh, I know I can do that," so let me add this to my game. So I just started stealing pieces from any player that was doing anything productive.
Right. Who were some of the people that helped mold your career once you did get to the NBA, whether it was a coach or a player that helped you become either a better player or just a better person? You were 19, you said. So
Yeah.
anybody really help you while you were there?
You know what? So let's say my first four years or so, it was kind of crazy because I had injuries, so
Mhm.
it was up and down. And then with the Warriors, we had a lot of team injuries, which was crazy. The team was going through transition. I think I played for two or three coaches or something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
There was a team sale, uh, so there was a lot going on. So that was crazy. Obviously I was talented or whatever, but ended up getting traded at the deadline on my last year of my contract, and then went to New Jersey for like 3 months, whatever, to close out the year. And then the lockout hit,
Mm,
and then that's when I was really able to like evaluate, my game and sit down and watch a lot of film and really take care of my body. Because over the lockout, I had the extra time to like transform my body. And then when I got to Dallas, people were like, "Whoa, this guy's a different player now." Um, he's still young. He's still only 23. And I think that's where my best years were. Finally got my feet on the ground and was able to take off. So I kind of attribute, going to Dallas. They were literally the first team to call me as soon as the
wow.
lockout was lifted, and my agent was like, "This is a great situation. They had just came off a championship. They have a stable franchise. They really really like you. I was like, let's do it then. And then it was pretty easy, and it was probably one of my favorite places to play.
Okay, I was gonna ask, what so you liked playing in Dallas.
Yeah.
Did you like the team? Did you like living in Dallas? What did you
No,
like?
yeah, I liked everything. The
Yeah.
team, ownership, coaches, the players. City was great. Not too far from Nashville, so my family was able to come down and watch. Uh, Nice weather,
Yeah.
sometime for the most part at least. No, it was just a great situation. And then Vince Carter got down there, which was cool. Brendan Haywood was there. He's a Tar Heel guy, which is cool. So we started having some Tar Heel people. Daryl Armstrong was there. He's a coach. He's from North Carolina,
Yeah.
the Fayetteville area. So that was cool. So it was a lot of support there, and it was cool because it was a veteran team, and I needed that. I think I needed that after coming from Golden State. We were just so young.
Mhm.
It's hard for young teams to get their footing sometimes. So going to Dallas was being able to watch people work, know how to work, and build an actual championship team and be able to play with Jason Kidd and Dirk Nowitzki and Jason Terry. I had some good memories there.
And then from there back to was that after that Memphis? Or after that?
I went to Phoenix
Okay.
for like maybe like 3 or 4 months. I got traded on the last year of my deal in Dallas to Phoenix, and it was a cool place too. I liked it a lot. It was
Yeah.
I mean, and we went to I got traded to Phoenix during the well, actually, I forgot to tell you, I got traded to Boston
Oh,
first. That same year, I got traded twice in the same year, and I was only there for 3 weeks though, and it was a lot of like limbo, like rumors. What are they going to do with this guy? Are they going to keep him? Are they going to trade? They end up trading to Phoenix,
Mm.
and they got more draft capital. That's what created what they have now. All the draft capital they have. And then I went to Phoenix, which was a cool place. I ended up going there. That was the Super Bowl year,
Oh,
and that was the year that Russ threw the pick right at the goal line. That was that crazy year. But
wow.
yeah, that was a cool place too. I liked it there a lot. I mean, Scottsdale. I mean, you can't beat that. I mean, have you been
Yeah.
to Scottsdale before?
No, I haven't. It's on my list.
No, it's
Move it
definitely
up.
on, like,
Move it up on
yeah,
the list. Okay.
it's everyone talks about Nashville, obviously, and places like that, Austin, but
Yeah.
Scottsdale is a great city. Like
Okay.
it's a good place to visit and hang out.
So all of the places you've been to, did you have a favorite arena to play in, like in terms of just coolest atmosphere?
Yeah, to be honest, I love playing it. I'm still calling it Staples Center. I'm not
Okay,
calling it
no, that's fine.
I'm not calling
Well,
it
it might not be crypto for
crypto.com.
that long.
Yeah, you might be right about that. But to me, it'll always be Staples Center. It'll never be anything else. That's my favorite place to play. I just like the shooting depth and
Yeah.
the lights. Um, and you always see people that you see on TV, to see the stars, sit on the front row. You get to play against great players. You got to play against Kobe a lot. And I mean, basically during my time was those Laker teams were very, very good, except
Mhm.
towards the end. But I always enjoyed going into that place and playing. It was just a cool feeling for me.
Yeah, I bet, especially kind of when you grow up in the South and then to go to like out there out west, like LA, it's so different.
Yeah.
Do you like, and you mentioned like seeing the celebrities. Are you a pop culture guy?
I mean,
I mean, does,
I like movies and
yeah.
music and stuff like that. I never get starstruck or anything like that.
Okay.
But I respect what all these people do because I understand the hard work that goes into it.
Yeah.
Um, and then particularly on our ends, I just look back and think like, wow, what we put our bodies through,
Hmm.
for all of these years, especially if you play a long time. I mean, I had 6 surgeries in my career, and
Yeah.
just you just respect people's crafts a little bit more when you go through some really really tough, but you have to overcome it, type of times.
Talk to me about how you overcame that adversity of having all of the injuries and just dealing with them, not only physically, but mentally, because it's a lot.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's tough. I mean, it's part of it though.
Hmm.
If you play this long, you're gonna get hurt unless you're like LeBron or somebody like that. I mean, he's starting to get nicked up a little bit, but
Hmm.
I don't think he's had many surgeries, but it's just part of it. Guys go down, you got to come back. If you want to stay in the game, you got to be able to deal with these type of injuries and be able to rehab and be able to mentally be able to sit there and go to a physical therapy facility every day and do what you need to do to get back on the court and help your teammates out. But it's part of it, but some days I feel it, just waking up and walking around. But I like to work out a lot, so I stay in really, really good shape. Um, I like to be active with my girls and be able to run around. So I don't want to get out of shape.
Let's talk about that. So hobbies are working out. According to this is funny, I think. According to Wikipedia, your hobbies are first bowling, fishing, golfing, and video games. How accurate is that?
It used to be accurate.
Okay.
I don't bowl as much anymore
Okay.
because I had this left shoulder surgery in, what was that, 2009?
You're a lefty?
Yep, I'm a lefty. So no more bowling because
Okay.
I can bowl one game and I get sore.
Ah. But you were
So
really into it.
yeah, I liked it. It was fun.
Nice.
I thought it was fun. Fishing, I hadn't been in a while, but I still love the idea of fishing because it's just so calm and relaxing, just chill. Um, if you go on my Instagram page, I caught this shark. I actually caught it in Fort Lauderdale.
What?
Yeah,
Where?
right off the coast of Fort Lauderdale. It was one of these, it got plenty of like docks and fishermen
And you
type
caught a
of
shark?
place. Caught a shark. Yeah, it's I caught a
Wait,
7.5, 350-pound shark, bull shark off the
were you
coast of Fort
freaking
Lauderdale.
out?
I literally feel like I almost died. Like it was that tough to pull that thing in.
Wait, who were you with and like what happened?
So me and my trainer went down. Um, we just went down on a vacation or whatever just to get away. We had been
Yeah.
training so hard. I think this was maybe in like end of July or something like that. I think we did like a 3 or 4 day getaway. We never been to Fort Lauderdale. Let's do something different.
Yeah.
We just went down there and hung out and got some sun and ate some seafood. And
Nice.
he was like, "You want to go fishing one day?" I'm like, "Sure, let's go." So we go out and we find the hotel hooks us up with a cool spot and they take care of us and we go out and we catch a couple small fish and the captain was like, "You guys want to try to catch a shark?" I was like, "Yeah, cool, let's do it." Um, so he was like, just to warn you, we usually catch one shark every, probably 3 to 6 months. I was like, "Okay, cool. We'll try to do it." So you catch a fish and then you like kind of do a little slit on it or whatever, try to attract them with the blood, and you hook that fish and then that's how you throw it out.
Okay.
Um, yeah, this is the crazy part now. So we throw it out and I'm up first, and I think like within 20 or 30 minutes, he said a bull shark hits the line, and he was like, "All right, you got to pick this reel up, and you're gonna have to reel because this thing is gonna keep running until it's not gonna stop." And he was like, "I'm gonna warn you." He said, "On average, it usually takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours to get this thing in." I was like, "No,
What?
not today. It's not gonna happen." So I went nuts. I just started giving. I took my shirt off. I said, "Hold the reel." Took my shirt off, and I was like, "All right, let's go." I went as hard as I could, and I got that thing in 20 minutes. But
Wait,
this is the
and then
crazy
how
part.
big was it again?
It was 7.5 feet, 350 pounds.
I'm about to pull this up.
Yeah,
This is
so
crazy. Okay, wait. So
it's
you caught
down
a
pretty
shark.
far.
So you do like fishing, but you caught a shark.
So we
What?
caught a shark. I caught the shark, and I was like, "All right, cool." We pulled it up. We don't put it in the boat because it's dangerous. We just show it, and just so we can take pictures of it. We took pictures of it, and we let them go. And then all of a sudden, I just started feeling like complete trash. Like I'm like almost about to pass out. I'm very fatigued. So I told the captain, I was like, "I gotta go down and go lay down inside the boat."
Just from like doing it?
The fatigue, yeah, it just took everything I had in my body and so I had to lay down for like 30 or 40 minutes to like get myself together
Oh my
to before I could like get back out there and watch finish the boat trip. So that was nuts. I felt like I had like I because I got COVID last December. That's how I felt after I caught that shark. I was like literally that exhausted. It was one of those times. And then my trainer, he caught one himself. He caught a little bit smaller, but he did the
God.
same thing. He got his in about 30 minutes.
Wait,
And then he had to do the same thing I did. He had to go lay down himself. He was exhausted also.
where is the shark?
It's probably back a little bit.
Okay.
I
We'll
gotta
find
find it.
another. Wait, I found it.
Yeah, it's yeah.
That is crazy.
That thing, I'm telling you, I never felt power like that from any other force than I felt from that shark.
We'll have to
That
post
was
this video with a teaser reel. This this is a full shark.
yeah, that was like real, like I was like, that was real power. Like I never felt anything that strong ever.
Oh my God.
And it was like fighting too. It was like it didn't give up.
Okay. Well, that's
And
crazy.
then yeah, so and then he was like, "All right, guys, what y'all want to do?" I was like, "Let's go back to the dock. We're done."
Yeah,
After
let's like maybe go out to dinner, relax, maybe
yeah,
sleep.
I think we still had like 6 hours left on the trip. I said, "Let's go back." Yeah, let's go back.
So you took a boat out from this is like out because I was gonna say
Yeah,
we don't really have a lot of sharks in Fort
I think he
Lauderdale.
said we went off 30, 40 miles, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
off the coast.
So have you been fishing a lot since then, or you kind of took a break?
No, no, I
That
haven't
was in
been, but I mean,
2014, according to your
because I,
Instagram.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have an 8-year-old and 25-year-old girl, so I don't have as much time to fish like I want to. But
Is the 8-year-old a girl too? All girl dad?
yeah,
Or
all
girl?
girls. Mhm.
What is that like?
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I'm outnumbered in my house 4-1,
Yeah.
so all females. But I think it was meant to be like that. I think that's what God was telling me He wanted me to have because I grew up with two brothers, and then
That's
so
right.
my mom was outnumbered 4-1 in our house. So I think it's kind of cool that I end up having all girls, and then with the twins was kind of crazy too.
Yeah, that's twin. I mean, that must be a lot, but it's so nice that you get to do that and that you embrace it, and then you get your little time away because you're joining us from your man cave, which you were explaining to me earlier. So when with your family, what do you like to do? And then what do you like to do when you get some alone time?
Uh, I mean, we just like a vacation. We spend a lot of time at Disney. They spend more time than me. So my wife and then one of my twins, Reese, they just got back from Disney
Oh,
on Monday or Saturday morning. So we go down there, quite a bit, 3, 4 times a year probably. I just like to go on vacations. I like to go to like Hawaii and the Bahamas and places like that. Always trying something new. We went to Puerto Vallarta for the first time, couple in the summertime in June. Um, Talking about going to Cabo. So we like to travel a lot. You know,
tropical, it seems. Tropical vacations.
yeah, yeah. We like to do those, and then sports. They all playing tennis, and then my oldest is playing tennis and basketball at the same time. So it's getting a little cold, but we have like a little rule where if it's between like 30 to like 100, we gotta go out there and work. If it's below that or above that, then we can call it off.
Would it be cool to have a basketball player, or are you kind of letting her do her own
No,
thing?
I'm letting her do her own thing because I haven't been pressuring her to play basketball, but she wants to, so I'm gonna let her play. Um, because I don't want her to be like, oh, your dad was this, your dad is that. You know how that stuff is. Like, I don't want her to be like pressured to live up to anything. Because she's tall. She's very, very tall. She's in the 100th percentile in height for an 8-year-old, and
Lucky
she's
girl.
very, very long, and she's
How tall are
athletic.
you, by
So
the way?
I'm 6'10".
6'10". Oh, so
Hmm.
and then how tall is your wife?
My wife is 5'9.5".
Okay, so I mean,
Yeah,
there's
our girls are
potential.
tall. Yeah, our
Yeah,
girls are already tall, and then the twins are like in the 90th percentile of height. They're 5 years old, so yeah. So we have some tall girls in this house.
that's so fun. And then when you're not hanging with the family, you do a lot of philanthropy. Tell me about that. And there's kind
Yeah.
of a lot going on. I saw um, some stuff that you do in the community, kind of the dentist for a day amongst
Oh
other
yeah,
things.
yeah. So that was kind of cool because it's one of our partners. I have a foundation in Nashville called Team Brandan Wright, and the basis of our foundation is girls basketball, youth basketball in the community, and we go from 7th grade to rising 12th graders. This year I think we'll have like 140 girls in our program. I think
Amazing.
that's like a foundation high. But we play basketball in the summertime. We get these girls scholarships. They get recruited to go play. We still haven't had any girls go to North Carolina yet, so that's kind of on the list. Um, but the athletic part, and then after I got going, the first couple of years, we added the education part to do a lot of partnering with these companies and these groups to kind of try to push education and then we partner with people like Delta Dental. We do these workshops where people come out and we provide the community with free services to their kids and themselves to make sure they're feeling good and checked up before they go to school. So we've been doing a lot of different things around here. I try to stay low key with it. I don't want to really publicize too much because I feel like that's not the way to go. If you do something, you do it from your heart and not to show other people what you're doing. So if I'm forced to post, I will post, but for the most part, I try to stay away from it. So like our one-on-one right here, if anybody asks what's going on, I'll definitely tell you what's going on. But um, yeah, that's the fun part, just giving back to the community that kind of brought me up and kind of gave to me.
That's awesome. It's a good message too. Like you do it because it's in the goodness of your heart, not
Yeah.
because you need to post about it or tell someone. I think that's a good piece of advice. And one thing I like to do on this podcast is ask, what's the best piece of advice you've gotten or a piece of advice you carry with you?
Uh, I don't remember who told me, but I tell my girls this too. Speak less and listen more. That's kind of been my thing, Like, you gotta evaluate what's going on because a lot of people like to speak. I mean, we know what social media is and we know how it is these days. Usually the loudest person is considered to be the most truthful or the right person, which is not always correct. But I like to sit back and watch people, and I do a lot of reading now. I used to not read at all, but I read a lot more than I used to. So I'm, just learning a lot more about people and the way people think and people operate, and the best routes of communication, which is good because having this foundation and stuff and being able to kind of learn, more about what's going on in people's heads.
What do you like to read? Like fiction or nonfiction or
No,
anything?
I don't read those type of books. My wife reads those type of books. No, I like to read about like health and fitness, and then I mean, I
Mm,
obviously like to I read the Bible. Just it's just part of the life routine or whatever.
yeah.
Then I like to read about medicine,
Okay.
but like holistic medicine, not like pills and all those type of things, because I took so much of the Advil and the anti-inflammatories while I'm playing. I wanted to kind of clean my body up. So what can lemon do for your body? What can turmeric do for you? Those type of things. I read these papers that have been published, all around the world and for years and years back, and just learn a lot of different things, and how I can help my girls, live a healthy life. I'm into stem cells a lot, which is kind of off the thing, off the tracks or whatever.
Yeah.
Then I like reading about this is kind of crazy. I like reading about like the drug cartel, the Mexican stuff, and the trade around the world and how all that stuff works. That stuff is interesting to me.
When you're talking about holistic medicine, so do you like in the morning, like do you have a certain routine that
Oh
you
yeah,
do? Yeah.
yeah.
What does it involve?
It's so I like to have a gallon of water before like 9 a.m. every day.
Whoa. What time do
So
you get up?
I usually get up around 6.
Okay, that's a lot of water.
I used to get up. Yeah, I drink a lot of water that around that time. So I used to get up a little bit earlier, but I kind of pushed it back now just because we don't have to get up as early.
Yeah.
So I have all my minerals and vitamins that I take in the morning, which is a lot, and I'll show you a picture of it um, down the line. But it's a lot of stuff. But I like to get it in my body before I leave the house to go anywhere, because I got to work out. I usually work out around 9ish every day. That routine has been solid for, I don't know, at least the last 7 to 8 years since I kind of took control of I guess you can say since the lockout year.
Okay.
That's been my routine. So I do that. I have a lot of different systems. I have stuff called blood flow restriction. I can see all the links to it. Pulse electromagnetic fields. I use all that stuff.
What does
Let
that
me
do?
It's basically for like cellular health. It
Okay.
makes your cells. It cleans out all the garbage and pushes all of it out. Um, Makes you feel a lot better. It heals you. A lot of technology out on it, a lot of science on it. Uh, so anything that I can promote to like my girls or the girls that I have in my program,
Yeah.
you know, that doesn't require like surgery or a pill. I try to promote that. I'm into cryo. I like cryo a lot too. I do a lot of
Cryo's
cryotherapy.
awesome.
Yeah, I feel good all the time every time I do it.
Do you go somewhere to do that?
Yeah, I
To do
go
it? Yeah.
somewhere to do it. I tried to put one in my house. They wouldn't let me do it.
Wait, is it not safe to have one in your house?
Well, you have to have this gas tank or whatever,
Oh.
and someone has to monitor it like
Mm,
almost every day. So you can't have a gas line at your house like that
got it.
without like it's a certain person that monitors that thing. So
Makes sense.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
and it's like so big anyways too, right? Like you can probably use this.
I mean, we could have we had space and we wanted to do it. We had space for
Yeah.
it, but they were like, no, you can't do
Yeah.
this. It's not safe.
No, that makes sense. Are you your girls or your older daughters, are you her basketball coach?
No, I don't see. That's the one thing too.
Okay.
I don't get involved in that. I just sit back.
No
Like
coaching.
I'll teach her some stuff off the court. If
Okay.
I see something that needs to be addressed or whatever, but I let other people coach just because if I coached, I would probably like think I was playing like in the NBA. Like I would prep like that. I would, coach like that. I would install like offense, defense, terminology. That's the way I would operate. And I can't really, it's kind of hard for me to turn it off, to be
You'd
honest,
have like the
because
8-year-olds in like film session and their like parents are like, sir, they're supposed to be in school. And you're
exactly,
like,
like that's the problem. Like some of those parents would probably hate me because the stuff I would want to do is like I want to go all in. I'm not. I'm either
Yeah.
all in or all out type of person. So I
Yeah.
just sit over there. I don't say anything. We'll talk after the game or whatever and discuss. What you could have did better.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I just stay back. If the coaches ask me anything, I'll give them any advice they want. But I just sit over there, relax, and hope she's enjoying it.
That's awesome. So sports for you, what are your teams like when you're just hanging out? Who are you rooting for? What are you watching?
I mean, I'm a Nashville guy, so I mean, I'm all Nashville.
Okay. Titans, Preds.
Titans, Preds. I like the Braves just
Oh yeah, I
because
read
it's the
that.
closest team here. Um,
Okay.
I'm a Manchester City soccer fan.
Okay.
We have Nashville SC here now too. I'm trying to get into it just because it's here.
Yeah.
So I mean, those are my teams for the most part. I was glad the Braves finally won a championship, which
Yeah.
has been a
Good
long
time
time
to
coming. Yeah, yeah. So I'm set there for a while.
Okay.
But I think it's time for the Titans to do it. Then they actually build a new stadium too, which is gonna be nuts.
They are?
It'll be done in they said 2026. So I mean,
Wow. That's
Nashville is
even good.
crazy. Like they won Super Bowls and all those things here. And then I mean it's a lot of like rumors behind the scenes that they're gonna bring a baseball team here too. So that'll be fun.
That'd be really interesting, but I mean, what better city? Because you and I were talking before we got started, there's so much growth. It's a
Yeah.
different city every time I've been there. There's something different. It's awesome. Have you gotten into the country music scene? I mean, you grew up there, but that's not your scene. Okay. And emphatic
No,
shake of
I
head.
no, I mean, it's been here forever, and
Yeah.
this is the country music capital of the world. But and probably shouldn't say that. I hate when people say, "Oh, you like country music." No, I don't. I just live
I
here.
just live here. And you were
But
born and raised there.
Broadway is crazy though. I don't know if you've been to Broadway before.
Yeah.
It's a very it's a nuts place. Literally all times of the day. It's
All times of the day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I mean, it's probably vastly like very closely approaching the Vegas Strip. It's like on its way to that. That's how crazy it is.
Yeah.
I stay away from that place though. I stay away from downtown as much as I
Yeah.
can.
It's definitely touristy. So
Yeah.
if you don't like country, what kind of music do you like?
I mean, I just like rap and R&B. I like a
Yeah.
little more pop now too. I used to not like it as much, but I do now.
You listen, like,
Um,
with the girls. Is that what they like?
oh, the girls they like whatever's on Disney Junior, or they like Taylor Swift and like Olivia Rodrigo and um, Billie Eilish. They like those type of artists. So
Cute.
I've been sucked into listening to that stuff, even though it's not my top choice. You know,
Totally.
yeah. But it's like I said, it's weird. It's just weird around here because like when you tell someone, "Oh, I'm born and raised here," like really? Oh, that's weird. Because
Very
everyone here
true.
now, they're from a different place. They're not from
Yeah.
Nashville. They lived in. They're from Chicago or they're from Florida. Or they're from
Yeah.
New York or whatever. And we had a huge influx during COVID because of the housing is so. It used to be cheap here. It's not cheap anymore, but it was cheap.
Well, it's a good place to be and
Yeah,
raise a family. Do you guys see yourselves staying there?
yeah. We'll be here. We'll always have
Yeah.
a residence here. We've
Yeah.
been talking about getting a home and maybe in Orlando.
By Disney?
Yeah,
It's that much
I,
of a love.
yeah. I mean, I just say they go down there. I go once a year. They go 3 to 4 times a year.
Wow.
I would prefer to get a home like in Hawaii or maybe in like the Bahamas or something. But we'll see where it goes.
Okay. Yeah, you might I
We'll
mean,
see.
you're outnumbered. You already said that, so you might
Yeah,
not have much of a say.
yeah.
Um, Before I let you go, um, we'll wrap it up with a little more Tar Heels. We talked a little bit about the team this year, and I don't want to jinx anything because I'm very superstitious, but do we have good hopes, like good feeling about this season, this team?
I think we are in good shape. The only thing I'm concerned about is, we need a little bit more depth.
Yeah.
Um, it's last year team was weird because we really only play like 6.5 guys.
Yeah.
And Carolina traditionally usually play 10, 11 guys, maybe 12 if you because those teams are super talented. But it's so different these days because of the portal and you
Yeah.
know you can't keep everyone happy. So you're gonna lose those. 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th guys if they're not playing. So that's my only concern. If we lose one of our guys, RJ or Caleb or Baycock, Leaky, we might be in trouble. But for the most part, if we stay healthy and some of those guys off the bench develop, I think we'll be in good shape to make a run. I think we're going to win the ACC pretty easily this
Yeah.
year. Even though Duke is pretty talented, some teams that were down last year will be back up, like Florida State. But I think we're in good shape in the league. And then 6 games, see what happens.
Yeah. Could we see like an analyst, like broadcaster in your future that was spoken so eloquently? Like a coach, maybe, like a basketball coach.
I kind of been approached about it, but I really don't want to do that. I don't think I
Okay.
want to do that. I have other stuff going on that I want to do. And then, I was away from the girls for so much
Yeah.
because of playing. I don't want to really be away from them again like that, even though it wouldn't be the same.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of want to be at home now a little bit more. So
Yeah.
that's better. Maybe if I got like a local role, maybe,
Yeah.
but not. I don't want to travel or anything like that. I mean, I know it's fun and it's maybe on the docket for like maybe down the road,
Yeah.
but I don't want to do it just yet.
Absolutely. Family first, and it's not always as glamorous as it seems for sure. So it
Yeah.
seems like
I
you've
mean,
got all the right priorities.
maybe the podcast thing. I kind of like that because you can just sit there and just talk, and you can be wherever, you can wear whatever. You don't have to.
You got a good thing going, right?
Yeah.
This was
Yeah.
good. This was a
was.
great podcast, wasn't it?
It was great.
It was great. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up with where can everyone find you? I know you're not always active on social media. We found the shark picture, but if
I
everyone
mean,
wants to go
I'm
see it,
active, but I don't post
okay. But if
unless I'm
everyone wants
forced
to
to
go find
post.
this shark, where can they find you?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at on Instagram at BKW34, and then I'm on Twitter at was it BWright34, I think.
Just like a Brandan Wright, but it's Brandon A.N.
Yes, correct. And I don't know what's going on with the verification thing. I don't know what that is. Like, what's the deal?
That's a whole long story, Brandon. We would have to start another podcast.
Yeah, I don't know. So because you can, like, I think
You
technically
can
people
buy
can
it.
make, they can make their own like Brandan Wrights now, right?
Yes, but when you click on it, so some people can pay for Twitter Blue, but you already have verification, right?
Yes.
So do I, and so it'll show and it says like I am verified because I'll tell you. This account is verified because it's notable in government news, entertainment, or another designated category. But someone who has Twitter Blue, it'll say this account is verified because they subscribe to Twitter Blue. So
Gotcha.
if you're just scrolling, you can't tell like if somebody made a fake
So
account.
you
Because
have to click on it and like dig a little bit deeper.
you have to dig. Yeah, if you're just scrolling, like if you were still playing, people could make like I am Brandan Wright, and then they could post like I'm requesting a trade or something.
Yeah, I seen that one with LeBron the other day,
Yeah.
and I was like, this is not right.
I know. It's a whole nother thing. It's crazy. I was with a friend from Carolina this past weekend who works for Twitter, and she's like, I'm holding on. She still has her job and she's so grateful, but she's like waiting to see what all goes down with it.
Yeah. No, I'm here for the ride. I want to see how this thing goes, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll see how it rides out. We'll ride the wave and see how it plays out.
Because I feel like he might be just trying things right now, but it might not be the final destination, just to see where it goes.
Yeah. It's a crazy place right now. So
yeah, it
we'll
is.
see what happens. But if anyone wants to find you, they can look you up there. Oh, there's only one Brandan Wright, but it's Brandan. That could be your podcast name, like Sophia with an F. You could be Brandon with 2 A's. Brandon with 2 A's. I just gave you a podcast
that
name.
could work. That actually it could be a cool name.
That could be
a great name.
We're workshopping it.
Yeah.
It's there's something there. It's something.
Yeah.
We'll get
there. It's definitely a start.
It's definitely a start. This has been so much fun. Thank you so much. I am so honored to have had a fellow Tar Heel. So thank you for joining us. I've had so much fun.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.